The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Talofa Lover. I'm Madeline Chapman, editor at The Spin-off. If you have the means, consider supporting our high-quality journalism by becoming a Spin-off member. Sign up now at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Shall we ring Jane to do the intro to this podcast? It's only fair.
It is only fair. But it's bang on like three. She will be in full chaos. She'll like Pickle will be vomiting on her, and she'll be holding her kids underneath her arms and trying to get a photo of Clint Randall.
Hello, welcome to the Real Pod. My name's Jane Yee. I'm joined over the phone lines by Alex Casey and Duncan Greaves.
That was too professional.
That was wonderful. And Jane, where's Jane?
Where's Jane? Jane is at home with a child who has COVID.
Oh.
A great
Very
sadness.
Is that okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He's 7 times his life. On iPad all day, doesn't have to go to school.
And
kids are going to remember COVID in like an entirely different way than adults are.
How long till they're trading positive tests at school?
It may already be happening.
You definitely want to go for a second opinion on that, I reckon.
How's Pickle, Jane?
Pickle is good. He's very neat. Can you hear him? He's actually just right here.
Is he vomiting? Oh, no.
Give him a squeeze.
Oh, yeah, no, he had a bit of a spew out in the garden. He's all right, though. I think he did that thing that dogs do, and sometimes cats do, where he ate it afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's probably healthy.
That's farm to play.
I do that sometimes.
That's Samuel, everybody.
Samuel, of course.
Hello, Samuel.
Hey.
We're just trying out the funky phone thing. Is there anything else interesting that you can see, Jane?
That I can see?
Yeah.
No, I can't see anything interesting. It's my bedroom. I made my bed especially, but you guys can't see that.
No, we can imagine it, though.
On some
What
level.
can you see?
Duncan?
Yeah.
Oh, lucky.
That was the appropriate level of enthusiasm. When we do callbacks or discuss our podcast, is that the podcast equivalent of eating our own vomit?
Yes.
Something to think
We're
about.
constantly eating our own vomit. Constantly! Flappy shoe vomit, bloody do your own shower witch vomit.
Tag your flatties vomit.
Tag your flatties.
I still think be your own shower witch every morning is in my... Every morning I do it. Every morning I start the day off right. Samuel, do you even know what we're talking about when we
Absolutely not. I have seen... I've listened to exactly 3 episodes of The Real Pod, and they were the ones I recorded.
He's a big fan. He's a
super fan.
Well, it's going to be a lovely summer break for you, visiting the back catalogue.
We'll give you homework.
Do you know how many we've done, Sammy? I know you've been counting podcasts lately.
There have
How many have we done
been
this year?
69 Real Pod podcasts this year.
What?
Ooh la la.
Very nice.
Right.
Very, very
That's an
nice.
auspicious number.
Amazing. Jane, so what do we don't really have much to talk about today in terms of local reality or real news. We're just going to talk about our favourite international reality shows of the year. Do you want to kick us off, given that you are dialing in remotely from your bed?
Well, it sounds also
Okay,
like
hang on. No,
from
wait.
a building
Hang on,
site.
Yeah.
Sonically.
From 1995.
It is not. I'm not dialing in from my bed. Let me be clear. My bed is made. I am neither in it nor on it.
You're near it.
I'm near it.
Get
I'm in
into
my
bed,
bedroom.
girl.
Yeah, it's so good working from bed.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay, now I'm on bed, so that's exciting. And here comes Pickle. Okay, so the two shows I want to talk about will be, unsurprisingly, Bachelor US, which, of course, I have been following since a long time. Actually, no, I want to talk about the Bachelorette that came out this year. It was such a tank of a season. I dipped out for a couple of seasons because it was just getting too much. as in too much telly to watch with everything else we were watching. But I thought I'd give it a hone again, and it's just they had 2 bachelorettes, and I have to say, we did a better job with 2 bachelorettes than they did.
They stole that. We were the first to do that, right? They stole our routine.
In the States, they're like, it's never been done before.
How dare they?
So, but they started off with 2. They carried 2 through the whole season, and one of them just had a disastrous run. She spent the entire time in tears and came out with nobody. Oh. And then the other one had just kind of like a really anticlimactic finale where she rode off into the sunset with her love, but like he sort of left the show and she went with him, sort of thing. Or I can't even remember, but anyway, it's how bad it was. I can't even remember. And it's just tanked. It's just flat.
Is Chris Harrison gone, Jane?
Oh yes, he's gone. He is no longer.
So what happened? Is there a host, or is it just like an air freshener?
Yeah, there's a host. His name's Jesse, someone I can't remember his surname. I think he's a former Bachelor from way back. And he's doing a great job. They needed another white man in there, and they got one in. And he's,
thank God.
Yeah,
it's touch and go for a while.
Yeah, the white men were looking like they were in trouble for about never. And the other show I want to talk about is Sister Wives, because this is a very niche show that I've been following for some 14 odd years. It's incredibly boring. Like, it's not great to tell.
I remember when you made us. I've heard you talk about the show at length.
I know.
And once you even played me and Duncan a very long chunk of a boring podcast that we had no reference like points for.
It is not a boring podcast if you know the show. But lacking context. Anyway, it's been, to be fair, look, it's a show that's kind of about nothing. The fascinating part of it is just watching this weird family dynamic of one husband, 4 wives, and like 17 children. Too many of everything, to be honest. And nothing happens year after year after year after year. And then this year, one of the wives has left the husband. And it's huge news. It's very sensational. A lot of drama for this particular show, and it's just so good. So this has just been a landmark year for Sister Wives, and I'm glad that I spent 14 years watching it to this moment.
Man, imagine if you hadn't had the payoff. Like, this 14 years of an objectively boring show by your own account.
Do you have a community around you, Jane, of Sister Wives fans?
You sound concerned, Alex.
A little bit.
There's a Sister Wives channel. There's a Sister Wives channel in the Discord.
Oh, the Real Pod Discord
is in the show notes. So there is a sprinkling of us.
How many sprinkles in the sprinkling?
Pardon me?
How many sprinkles in the sprinkling?
I don't know. It feels like maybe 5.
That's pretty good, you know.
Is that how many Sister Wives there are?
There are just more people in the Discord channel than wives Cody has, which is that's, as long as we're above their number of wives he has, I think that's a success.
Do you stand ready to replace the missing wife?
No.
No? This
guy
doesn't look great.
Such a freak. He is like a bad man.
Oh.
Bad man. Honestly, you guys should watch it. You'd love it. You've got 14 years worth of content.
Maybe
while Samuel's listening to the entire back catalogue of the Real Pod, you guys should watch this one.
Where do we watch it, Jane?
The internet.
Is it a 1, 2, 3 watch movies kind of a job?
No, I would never. No. I believe you can watch it on Sky.
Oh yeah, like we have
Sky.
Okay. I'll sign up to Sky then, Jane.
Sign up immediately. I don't think they're airing the new season currently. And the funniest thing about that is that for a reality show, this shoots so far behind. Like, they're airing stuff that happened at the beginning of last year, airing in the States, and then our Sky isn't even playing the current season. So by the time you get it, it's all sort of like 2 years old information. So spoiler alert, Christine leaves.
Run, don't walk, everybody.
The people who care really care, and I'm here to represent them. It's important that we represent the minorities.
Okay, well, you've heard it here first, everybody. Bachelorette, not that good. Sister Wives.
Go back to
very
2008.
boring. Thank you, Jane Yee, for your recommendations of the year for 2022.
Those supposed to be recommendations. Well, I still stand by Sister Wives until I die, probably.
And we stand by you, Jane, through thick and thin.
Thank you.
Can't wait to
Enjoy
see you
the rest
again.
of your silly podcast.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. This is the real pod, by the way. Have we been clear about that? They know.
I think it's strongly implied.
You know what's weird is I looked. You don't have to say all the stuff about Facebook and the Real Pod Corner and stuff.
It's in the show notes.
It's in the show notes, and it's all on Google.
Really?
I've said it once and I'll say it again. Real Pod Corner will take you straight there. You don't need us to tell you where to go.
Your rec is Google.
Yeah, there's some amazing information on there.
Have you guys heard of Google?
You wouldn't believe some of the stuff.
What have you found?
Oh, lots of stuff. A slug has 4 noses. Did you know that?
No, but that where did you find that? Like WikiHow or something? That doesn't seem real.
I used Google just the other day to figure out how to pack up art. WikiHow.
Was it WikiHow? Mm-hmm. Or Quora?
Oh, I love Quora too. It's always like a question from 6 years ago.
I know, it's gorgeous. I remember, I feel like Yahoo Answers was the iconic platonic version of that, which just, you could never really tell whether it was like a troll answer or just like a really earnest, misguided person who was just trying to answer everything, really didn't have a lot of facts at their disposal. It was
Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, but that's just an old search engine. It's not even related.
Bing.
Bing.
Dogpile?
No, you're just saying some names.
Samuel, do you know about Dogpile?
I know all the other ones. I don't know about
Dogpile either.
Yeah.
Hope I've just said something real and not something weird.
Because that sounds like one of the things you discussed on your podcast with Eli.
Dogpile.com. Yeah, it's real. It's got online dating and best air fryers. Okay, this is a podcast about reality television and popular culture. We don't really have much to talk about in terms of the local sphere this week.
Which is a relief.
Kind of. It's nice to take stock. I also feel like people are starting to check out of this year.
I got my Christmas tree on the weekend. I know it's early, but it was less than a month until we flew out to Perth. So I figured it was fine. Yeah, well, I've never been to Perth. I have been to Perth, but not for many years.
I thought you were just in
went to
Perth.
Gold Coast. Gold Coast is not in Perth.
Okay, I don't know.
You got to get on Dogpile.
Piece of land.
And just do some research about countries.
I don't know. Look, okay. So what we're going to do is go back and look at the best international reality shows of the year.
I should say in advance that this is going to be dominated by Alex, who's a much more diligent watcher of international reality TV than me.
I do the work.
You do?
I do. And some of these you have watched. So
2 of these I have watched.
I would even say maybe 3. I'm gonna go out and say it. So I've picked 10. The best, what I think.
Can we count them down? Like in your order? Can you put them in an order?
That's going to take me ages. No, I can't.
Well, just sort of, even if the order's wrong, it's an order.
Okay, I'm going to do this on the fly. This is chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start with the end then.
Which is the worst?
This is the worst.
Yes.
Okay. Can we get some, like, music to make this sound kind of cool? Like... Coming in at number 10, it is Love is Blind.
Really? Number 10?
Number 10. Did you think it would be higher?
Well, I did, just because Hunter Harris, who's a writer we mutually admire, got a very good Substack, Love is Blind, all about it. So tell me why it's 10.
Well, for me, we're 3 seasons in now. Time and time again, it has proven love is not blind. Very quickly in the experiment. So the setup is... a group of men, group of women live in separate quarters and date through a frosted glass window, basically, over the course of a week. You can only meet each other once one of you has proposed to the other person. Then you meet in this kind of channel and they lift up like a screen and they run into each other's arms, and then very quickly they realise they don't like each other at all. And then they go into the real world, blah, 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 working towards a real marriage in 2 weeks' time.
Whoa, that's fast.
It's pretty fast-paced. And for the most part, people do genuinely seem to fall when they're in the pods in the way that I think you would if you were isolated and kind of kept in like a corporate waiting room.
If I was without iPhone for more than like 2 days, I don't know how I would act. I would go feral.
Lots of love.
Your love is blind.
I'd fall in love with a lamp.
And there are some funny moments because people tend to open up pretty quickly, but because they can't see each other, sometimes the other person, famously in this season, Raven, when her love was opening up about something from his childhood, she was just like working out, like doing star jumps and push-ups and trying to sound like she wasn't puffed. So there are moments like that. The reason this has only made the top 10 for me, because I actually kind of dropped off, I didn't even watch all of it, there's this amazing moment in episode 3 of season 3 where one of the like hotshot guys, he's like a wildlife photographer who thinks he's got this lady on lock. She basically dumps him, and in his interview he asks the producer if the camera's rolling, and he thinks they're not. And he takes out like an eyedropper and drops fake tears, drops all these fake tears into his eyes. And then it's just like, what does he say? He's like, I never thought I could care for someone that would bring me to tears like this. While these fake tears are pouring down his face.
I love that moment.
Yeah. And you can hear the producer. The producer's like, yeah, we're rolling. And he just doesn't care.
I don't know what rolling means, but I assume it means not rolling. Kind of a vibe.
But I preferred earlier seasons. This is always the case with these sorts of shows, you know. The first season is the true experiment, and then everything else is just kind of mimicking that to an extent. Love is Blind, number 10. Okay, number 9. I'm going to go for The Mole, another Netflix reality show. Reboot.
Yeah, because that's a familiar name.
Of the classic, early 2000s. Julie Christie joint here in New Zealand. Not invented by, though. It was a Belgian format called De Mol.
I feel like the Nordics do like proper, like Married at First Sight is an original Danish format, I think. I think, and Big Brother as well. Like I think that they are very good at pushing the boundaries of human, like endurance and what is sort of morally defensible. Yeah,
I think there was the latest one that came from that part of the world that had a bit of chatter, which is yet to be picked up here, was one where it was like about surrogates or something. It was like Married at First Sight, but like next level, maybe like sperm
a human life involved.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really take off. But The Mole was pretty low stakes in the scheme of things. So it's basically there's a group of competitors all working to win money together, but one of them is sabotaging them the whole time. One of them's the mole. That person's working to earn money for themselves, and you don't know who it is. Even the viewers don't know until the finale. And I asked Madeline Chapman, editor of the spin-off, because I've watched only a few episodes. I didn't care for it that much, but I knew that Mad loved it. She watched start to finish in one day.
Wow.
All 10 episodes from her couch. And that's the Mad Chapman effect. You know? If you can get her on a couch watching the whole show, she says it's brilliant. You never know who's lying to who, and they're lying to you as well. It's also one of those shows where it's a great cross-section of people, because it's all kind of hokey challenges, and it's not like super physical, it's not a dating show, it's not based on appearance or, you know, a
little bit of CTI-ish kind of
energy. A little bit of CTI energy, but I also think it's cool that it's a reboot of an early 2000s format. Yeah. Because I reckon this is where we're going. TV's going towards The Mole. All the shows that we had in the early 2000s here, I think are all going to come back.
There's been like a lot of rebooting of dramas and comedies and so on from that era, so it stands to reason. And the formats are just sitting there. Love Island famously a reboot as well. Of a reality show.
Is it?
Yeah, because there was the original Love Island was like a not that good show with quite a different premise, and they basically completely retooled it for the phenomenon we now know and love.
See, I have a theory. I reckon shows like The Mole and other shows I will discuss further down the list are going to come into prominence again because they are safer. Literally, in terms of like in a post-Me Too world, dating shows are like minefields.
Yeah.
And these shows, you can get a really broad range of people doing a lot of interesting things without the emotional trauma necessarily. There are like levels of deception and stuff, but I feel like we're returning to purer times.
That scans. I feel like that's the mood. Everyone is sort of trying to self-care, and including reality TV producers, network heads. If you can like entertain people without having like constant reputational risk for your network and production company, it stands to reason you might lean in that direction.
And I also think it solves a lot of the problems that have like plagued reality TV in terms of representation for a long time because the dating shows have been the big shows. They're so dependent on young, hot, wearing a bikini, and it's all the same kind of people.
Yeah, and then there's always that sort of crazy tension around, like, who are they picking? And, interesting.
Yeah.
Some factors here that are common to all these couples.
Yikes. What number are we at? I've already forgotten. See, this is the countdown.
We're at 8.
Okay.
This is 8?
This
is
one's
8.
This one coming up.
This is 8.
No, because
This
you've
is
done
8.
Love is Blind and The Mole. Man, this
That's 2.
Yeah,
10, 9.
And then
So
8.
now we're
Carry
at
the
8.
1. Coming in at number 8. Below Deck Down Under. Duncan, you've seen it.
I've seen it. This means I might have seen, I reckon you could round it up to like 3.2, which is almost a third. Because there's another one I think I've sort of seen.
Oh,
so let's
shit.
discuss
Okay.
Below Deck Down Under.
I think what does a lot of the work to get it to the top 10 is Aisha Scott here.
Without Aisha, this show is, it's not even an honourable mention.
No.
It's like a finger-wagging disappointment.
We would not have committed to recapping the entire series with middling success had it not been for her. This was the first Down Under iteration of what I think is the greatest reality franchise
You've made a very
ever
compelling
made.
case for that on the spinoff.co.nz.
This season was a bit more chill, but you seemed to like really love it quite early on because you did watch ahead and you were talking it up massively.
I watched ahead from like 11 through close, which I actually think, because if I am to volunteer a thesis of my own, along with your sort of best reality show, I think part of the reason it works is that it's a 40-minute episode. It's not like an hour and 10 minutes like a lot of the modern shows. And there are really defined beats to it so that when you sort of binge it, you're getting like big chunks of action. There aren't like kind of these sort of meandering, drifty, fulfill a sponsor commitment, just take up some airtime episodes that have kind of really broken the format in New Zealand. And so I think watching it at pace, I got all that. But when we were doing it weekly, there were just some factors about this season, both in terms of the quality of the guests and just the relative lack of combustibility of the participants that kind of chilled out. I mean, our interview with Aisha, which huge get, she kind of alluded to some people who are just not bringing it on camera, most prominently Jamie.
Right. Who was Jamie again?
I think he was the bosun. Main bosun? Chief bosun?
Oh, yeah.
Muscle man?
Oh, that's right. And there was Culver. We can't forget Culver.
Adore Culver.
Breakout star, many mullet wigs,
Stripper.
many different characters.
Tension with Brittany.
That's right. Entertainment officer of the boat.
Which resolved off screen, which,
Yeah.
hold out.
I mean, possibly this is also, we've talked about this, but because the cast all isolated together before they shot,
True.
those 2 weeks, especially also with the guests, I think, makes for a completely different show.
The production shot, with hindsight, I think that if they could do it over again, they would not allow that to happen.
Just let COVID rip through,
Yeah.
whatever it takes.
It's for the greater good.
Also, not 1 but 2 Poonamis, which was massive.
Foul.
Really crazy. Poor old Benny.
See, now we're talking about, like, these characters were good. Why didn't it work?
They were good. It just didn't have the
It did, the
explosions.
Problem, what was the lovely captain's name?
Captain Jason.
Captain Jason. Maybe too lovely. You need a stern cap.
Yeah, I think so. It's also, I followed, I wanted to see how some of the crew were doing. Benny only has 15,000 followers on Instagram. Do you think it seems low?
It seems about right.
Do you reckon?
Because, I mean, yes, big famous, big franchise, but also, who's following Benny? I mean, as much as I love him, is it because he's a wonderful DJ? Is it because he's great
He knows
with a
his
wet
way
vac?
around a wet bag.
I'm just not sure what the compelling sell is for following Benny.
This is true. It's just sad to me that, like, reality stars can't be what they used to be,
Yeah.
They can't be the titans of HelloFresh and whatnot. Maybe they still can be. Coming in at number
7.
I'm going to choose Selling Sunset. Another Netflix. There's quite a huge Netflix showing in this top 10.
They really committed to reality over the last few years after being quite distant from it. I still think the big play for them would be to buy a shitload of back catalogue seasons, not just like little odds and ends, but like the whole bit. Because there's so many that just are not available. Tell me about Selling Sunset. I've also watched some of the show and very enjoy it.
Oh my gosh. It's like, it's the fakest show you'll ever see in your life on every single level.
Explain this.
Every part of it. Well, it's like extremely scripted. It's like a soap opera. It's set in the Oppenheim Group, this luxury real estate agency in LA. All of the women are dressed in the most ridiculous costumes.
It's really good watching people go to work in their Oscar outfits.
Like Christine Quinn, who's the mega villain of the show. Incredible. This is also why this makes the top 10, because I'm not sure Christine is coming back. And if this is Christine's last season, welcome to the top 10. She often has like these novelty handbags. One of them was just like a small Diamante chair on a chain with no storage.
I think I've seen Rihanna with that.
Probably. That's the kind of level that they're at. Like, they just head to toe glam. She had a baby at some point and then like went back to work looking exactly the same the next day.
That's
it's just
how
all over
babies
the
work
place.
in Tinseltown.
So you watch it for like a few different reasons. There's the luxury real estate, which is just absurd, and sometimes there's like interesting pseudo-celebrity clients and stuff. Like, you never got...
Did we see Lou Ferrigno on one season?
Who's that?
Sure. Who played the Hulk in the 70s. I'm pretty sure he might have had a statue of the Hulk in the 70s in his house. Maybe we never saw him, but I always thought that was cool.
So you watch it for the real estate, but it's mostly the drama, the workplace drama. Christine Quinn is a mega villain, but what was crazy about this season, the Oppenheim Group is run by two twins. Would you believe it?
I would believe it.
And one of them started dating Chriselle, his employee, inappropriate. And their relationship was just like so disgusting. She would like rub his head.
Because these two lads, like, these women are notable for being incredibly tall.
They're very statuesque,
and
they're all
heels,
stunning.
And these two lads are shredded, but they're not the tallest.
We can't
twins.
talk about men's height anymore, Duncan.
Verity Johnson.
Did you not read the Verity Johnson column
I didn't,
on stuff
but I did
this
screen
morning?
grab it and send it to you.
It's not okay, but it is a fact. She was much taller than him.
Yeah, like
and
I'm
it made
not passing
for
any judgment. It's just a thing.
interesting visual dynamics.
I mean, she shouldn't be rubbing his head. I feel like Verity needs to have a power on that.
So yeah, we left. This season ended with Christine's job on the line after it came out that she tried to poach someone else's client and offered them $5,000 to go with her, which is not on at the Oppenheim Group.
It's also not that much money.
It's not that much money, given the stuff they're throwing
How many little chair-shaped
around.
handbags do you buy for $5,000? Like, I'm assuming none.
And it's one of those shows that, I guess this is why there's probably so many Netflix ones, is just you binge it from start to finish.
Yeah.
Like Mad did with The Mole. I watched all of Selling Sunset. I know Sella, Jane Hopgood at the spin-off, massive Selling Sunset fan. And I wrote at the start of the year, we need a local version. Lo and behold, Rich Lister's NZ.
That's not a local version.
What do you mean?
Well, it just, like... it was made up in every way.
It's adjacent.
But it just... Oh, New Zealand. We give it a crack, but we sometimes don't even give it a crack when we're giving it a crack. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, they gave the fakeness a crack. Like, they really faked it.
But they really just shot it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't sound like there was anything that wasn't part of the show.
Did you watch it?
No.
No.
I read the coverage.
Yeah.
I wrote about it.
You wrote about it, which I thought was really brave.
I'm known for that.
Okay, coming in at number
6.
Thank you, Samuel.
That's a boomer.
Yeah, I felt kind of awkward about whispering the last one. I kind of was a bit insecure about it.
You could always add some effects to it.
He will.
You know, you will. You got a lot of editing to do on this podcast, don't you? Coming up next, Hunted Australia.
I know nothing about this. I
Okay.
just saw it and was like, interesting. Well, tell me everything.
Hunted Australia is so much fun. It's like, I know you love an action film. It's
do.
like an early 2000s action film. They basically get 18 Aussie drongos and put them in a van, blacked out van, drive them into the middle of Melbourne, release them all, and they've got to stay on the run from these, like, the squad of, like, former intelligence freaking
This is an
MI5
amazing
shit.
concept. Why did no one tell me about this?
Well, I'm telling you now, I wrote about it on the spin-off a few weeks ago.
I need to get an RSS
Good shit.
feed.
It's one of those TV shows that I see in like Facebook clips on my Facebook watch feed.
From Lad Bible?
Yeah, like it's truly it's an insane experience, that show.
It's legit, and it's so interesting. So they release them all. You've got to stay on the run. If you can stay on the run for 21 days, you win $100,000. So there's a lot at stake here for these teams. There's all these different kinds of people. My favourite team has like a tradie and a hairdresser who immediately ran out of the van, ran into a car park, which is where you go, I've learned, if you're on the run, because no reception and no CCTV outside. Run into a car park, shave your head, pop a wig on, and pop on like a high-vis vest, and then look like you're a tradie forever. Because I'm halfway through and there's been no updates on those lads. Like, I think they might
still be. It might be like the Japanese POW who's still fighting the war.
They were so convincing they got a job as a tradie. And now they're just working.
Started a new life. But it's really funny. It's really interesting in terms of you're like, what would I do? Because I was like to Joe, I was like, I'd just probably go to the Batch. And he's like, they'd find you straight away. Because people often will just like hit up their friend on Facebook and start staying with close friends, but they get found like that because they've got their social media. They've got cash, but they have to be really careful about getting out money from ATMs and using hop cards and stuff like that. Yeah. There's a lot of
do this.
There's a big disclaimer at the end, which is like, many of the situations in Hunted Australia are completely simulated and the government does not have access to this level of surveillance in real life.
Well, that's what the government wants you to think.
Because they do, it is like, when they shoot back at HQ, it's like Minority Report and they're all like, pull up this. And I'm like, I'm sure there's no like mainframe where you can access all security footage everywhere in the country.
Except for the production office of Hunted.
Exactly. And it's shot like an action film. It's massive budget. Like, they have choppers following these people. It's like madness. It's amazing.
Imagine if they made it how crap it would be.
I know.
I love thinking about that. The $130,000 budget version of Hunted. We put them on a train.
Yeah. The train was cancelled. They had to go home. We found them.
That's really short. And everything would be partnered. Like, they just... you got $50 to spend at Bunnings. And we're going to release them in half an hour.
I've only got halfway through, as I said. There's two teams that are regularly using old lady costumes as decoys. Just highly recommend.
That bad or hot? I can't tell.
There's just a lot of like Mrs. Doubtfire kind of conversation going on.
Has that ever been adapted into reality TV? Because they're screaming for it.
RuPaul's Drag Race Corner. When?
This is the first year that I haven't watched a single RuPaul franchise.
And I think you're a better person for it.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, probably.
Doesn't feel great.
Going clear.
Doesn't feel like a good ally thing to do.
Stop watching RuPaul.
Swear off RuPaul forever. Sick of it. Kia ora, I'm Alex Casey, senior writer at The Spinoff. We wouldn't exist without the ongoing support of our generous members. If you're able to, you can make a donation at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Do you find it hard staying optimistic with all the financial news in the media? I'm Bernard Hickey, and on my podcast, When the Facts Change, I'm here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of economics in Aotearoa. So join the conversation every Friday on When the Facts Change, brought to you by the Spinoff Podcast Network in partnership with KiwiBet.
Kia ora, I'm Duncan Grieve, founder of The Spinoff. You can help us keep all of The Spinoff's award-winning journalism free for everybody by becoming a member today at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Coming in at number
5? Yeah.
5. So. I mean, this is Throwback Thursday. The Kardashians. The Kardashians
Still
on Hulu.
Got it?
Yep.
Got it more than ever before. The reboot, which is now in its second season, better than ever. Fascinating. It's so tightly controlled. You can feel Kris Jenner in every frame being like, no, they're in the cutting room. They're making this show. Like, they own it in a way that they didn't with E.
So as in, like, they're showing them in the cutting room?
They're not showing them in the cutting room, but they've alluded to in episodes previous episodes, how they were like not happy with the cut, so they're having a conversation to like set the record straight on what happened there. Like
at the start of the new season, Khloe Kardashian got divorced from her husband after he cheated on her, but she didn't want to reveal in the show when they were filming earlier that she had a surrogate and that they were having a baby together. So they do like an episode that like jumps forward in time and then they jump back in time at the end of the episode, and then like Khloe just pretends she's not having a baby for the entire season.
It's incredible. Their control over that information in particular, because that's what's interesting about watching it, is like the season's covering things like the Pete Davidson relationship, SNL, and the Met Gala and Kim squeezing into the Marilyn dress, which we've all watched and experienced through the news already, like months ago, but now we get to see it again. But there's still breaking news with every episode. Like there's headlines coming out of each episode. And the fact that Khloe was somehow able to keep a pregnancy secret for the premiere, like purely for the launch of the show, it's just incredible. It's amazing. I'm so glad that it still exists.
It feels like they're going to make it forever.
Yeah, I think so. There's also a really weird dynamic where it's like, it feels very much like it's our family against the world now.
It's so intense.
And it's like, come on, guys, you don't have it that tough. You know, they're constantly...
You get to that level of fame, like imagine how isolating that must be.
Yes, there is, but then there's like, and I respect, you know, Khloe and Kendall for talking about their struggles with anxiety and stuff, but when you see Khloe be like, I just can't do another red carpet, I'm like, don't. Like, don't be on a show about yourself if you can't handle the attention.
I think I could fix Khloe Kardashian if I got alone in a room with her for 30 minutes.
What? How? What's your strategy?
I don't know, like I think I'd just be like, girl, come on.
You do wonder if there's anyone in their life who will do that.
I know. But like, I get a lot of it is also just for, you know, cameras and keeping the thing going. But sometimes I just want to sit down and be like, hey, Khloe, it's okay. I mean, I'm here for you.
It does an amazing job of making them seem like humans. I will say that. And even underdogs sometimes. Like there's a whole episode dedicated to Kim trying to get a guy off death row, and she pulls it off. And it made me be like, maybe I should buy Skims to support Kim and her like legal stuff, you know? Like the richest woman in the world. And I was like, this is poison. And I love it.
And did you?
I looked into it.
You're still
I looked into it. I've got a cart full, but I haven't pressed
Have you seen
go
that like
yet.
micro thong? It's like not even...
Some of those products are just completely absurd. And I also quite like seeing them like weathering a lot of like Twitter storms and stuff. Like when Kim got in trouble earlier in the year for saying her business advice for women is just to get up and work, which she got in big trouble for, coming from someone of her position and privilege. And there was a whole episode basically dedicated to her dealing with the fallout of it. And not that I'm like super sympathetic, but I was just like, it's quite cool to see that shit actually rattles them. You know, that it actually does get there and she's like freaking out about this stuff.
It is also quite amazing that a tweet that's basically ultimately kind of banal and maybe slightly insensitive if you're like, yeah, but sure, it's insensitive, but Jesus H. Christ, like it should not require a crisis management plan in a whole episode of TV. It's so freaking boring and basic.
Yeah.
Well, she's getting out there and working, Duncan.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm just saying.
Crisis managers.
Maybe we need to think about us, what we're up to as a side. Well, I'm very glad that
it's just amazing. If you're like just anyone who's interested in celebrities or television or anything, it's just you got to watch it. Well, they're just so amazing how they control the narratives over their lives on their show. Just one other great episode when she was shooting another Skims campaign in the new season, and she did the Icons shoot, and she got Tyra and who else? Heidi Klum, Cindy Crawford, maybe like all these supermodels to come and shoot, and then Heidi Klum's like, Kim, you should get in. You should get in the shoot too. And she's like, what? I'm so unprepared. I never thought of this. And then just like whips off her robe and it's immediately like in the middle of the shoot.
Was Heidi Klum dressed as a worm during this?
She should have been. That's the Skims I would buy.
Yes, worm Skims.
Worm Skims. That's Kardashians. Coming in at number 4.
No.
Yeah, no, 4.
Is it 4?
Yeah, 4.
Coming in at number 4, Duncan, it's Love Island UK.
I'm excited. This is my first year.
This was your first time
I never thought it would happen
in
for
Mallorca
me.
at the villa.
It was. And I feel like it was like growth for me as a person to think, no, that ship sailed. You're too old. You didn't get on. And you can never devote that much time to it. I was like clock watching, waiting for episodes to drop. I got so in.
6 eps a week. Big commitment.
But is it though? Like it's not like the 3 or whatever episodes of The Block. That's a big commitment. I know that it's half as much time, but it's 3 times as much of your like will to live.
True.
Whereas Love Island, it filled me up.
What filled you up about it?
Oh man. Okay. I love the way that they talk. I love their funny little accents. It's okay because I am English too. I really I love the way they dress. I just love the whole hermetically sealed world of it, and just slowly figuring out what a manicure was and all of the coded language they use. I loved Davide and Ekin-Su and their relationship. I feel like without them, this season, like I understand that why people who really know the game are just like, this was kind of an average season, and that that people know too much of what it's meant to be now, and play to that. But as a new fish dropped straight into this prison of a show, I was thrilled, and plus it was also like, I do think that we're very lucky in that it's like it runs counter seasonally here, so that through the depths of winter, this really concentrated block of a thing to take your, like it feels like you're on holiday when you're watching it. All these kind of garish colours, they never leave this location.
So bright.
They're so shredded. Like, God. Like I mentioned it, like just it changed me. I started wearing a gold chain.
Because of Love Island.
100% because of Love
That's a real pod
Island.
exclusive.
Whoa.
That's stunning.
And people can't tell us apart now. It's really weird.
We also cannot forget Andrew admitting to Tasha that he had cheated on her in Casa Amor with the iconic phrase. Well, first of all, he admitted that he sucked a tit or whatever. And then he changed it in the next sentence to licked a tit.
Oh, yeah, no, that's better.
They're not the same thing, Andrew. Answer the question.
We demand answers.
And after the first one, Tasha's just like, you what? It's just so good. I mean,
they're
that's
still
why you
together,
watch it. That's why you devote
Yeah.
hours.
But it is amazing, right? Like, we've watched shows with so much more drama where it's kind of routinized and almost productized, and we'll probably talk about one of them shortly. This one, when you try to, like, what happened, there's like 5 things.
Yeah.
And yet it's spellbinding, even though every conversation is exactly the same. Like, if you had one of those word clouds, there would only be like 7 words in it. They'd all just be massive. There's just, the vocabulary of the thing is like preschool.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
And also, I think there's something to be said for the way it's shot. Like, even though they're in this ridiculous, contrived situation, the fact that it's purely observational, hidden cameras, compared to something like, I don't know, F-Boy Island, which is like so heavily edited and, getting
And
people
they
to do
shoot
stupid
scenes,
things. Yeah, they shoot setups and scenes, whereas this, you very rarely like get them out of the villa doing weird dates. It's all just sitting around.
Well, it's all just sitting around.
Yeah.
But I think that because of that, it does have that thing where when they do almost anything, it's just tremendously exciting, because this is actually like, these are still fundamentally like psychological experiments. Like, put 14 like wildly attractive but objectively hilarious people in a location and just, here is some quite weird food. You have to literally make it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's the show. For 6 weeks.
So it's number 4. Like, you've watched more seasons than this. Like, where is it getting worse? Like, what?
It is. There's that podcast that I've recommended before, Unreal, has a really good 2-episode investigation into what's happened to Love Island. It's so interesting. Basically, the big problem is the people are just going on there because they know as soon as you're cast, you're guaranteed like $1 million freaking shine or showpo like contract. Shein, sorry. And also the link between the show and like fast fashion is real interesting because basically
that podcast, if you're a Real Pod listener,
you gotta listen.
You're allowed to listen to one other podcast and its name is Unreal.
You have to be playing our one at the same time.
But also skip the intro. They do the same, like a minute long. We're very pain in the ass.
This is true. But I think it's really interesting that it's like in the early seasons, they realized pretty quickly they needed everyone to change clothes every day. Otherwise, it would look boring to the viewer. So they started bringing in, online orders and Boohoo and whatnot. And then that kind of created this whole world where now everyone thinks you need to wear a new outfit every single day.
It's real buzzy to think that we probably are going to miss 1.5 because of Love Island.
But we're going to look hot doing it.
Oh my gosh, so good.
We're going to be hot doing it. Like, we're going to be sweating.
That's actually a good point. Like, we're making a lot more fast fashion, but it's so hot that we can only wear bikinis now. And they're tiny, so don't have to make any big coats.
Coming in at number 3. I'm going to go for the Doghouse UK here.
Okay, you're so into the show and I know nothing about it, but it is coming.
Have you watched the Doghouse?
I haven't seen the Doghouse.
What was you were talking about a dog website earlier as well.
Yeah, Dog Pile. It's different.
A big dog head.
The Doghouse, here's the elevator pitch. First dates with dogs.
That is low stakes.
Yeah, it's low stakes. It's set in this beautiful rescue centre in like lovely English countryside. And it's just all people from all walks of life looking for a dog who come in, get interviewed by the experts, and then they set them up in this beautiful little pen that's got fixed rig cameras, and they bring out a dog. That's the show. That's the show. And then the family or the couple or whoever decides if they like the dog. And then you find out, like a few weeks later, if it worked out between them or not. Thoughts?
I mean, honestly, that sounds like something I'd never watch.
It's so good. It's so wholesome. I cry every time.
I watched The Secret Life of Pets. That's good.
Wait, the animated children's film.
Oh, Secret Life of Dogs? Whatever, the one where they put like a camera on a cat or whatever.
Yeah.
That's good. I also watched one on there. I don't know what's going on here. Go with it. Where they showed these parakeets dancing to EDM. That was really good.
Is that just like a YouTube video that you've seen?
No, I think it's a YouTube video they packaged up into a Netflix show. So I do understand. I mean, I'm going to try and bring it back.
Militant Rooster is my favourite animal video.
Oh, yeah.
It's very grainy. It's very grainy. It's a rooster just marching through a car park.
I like Koala falls out of a tree and cries.
Oh.
It is really sad, but it's really good.
Sad. So I understand the innate appeal of watching human-animal interactions. And I'm sure you're right about this. I just know in my heart I won't watch it.
It's not for you. I will say it's a great equalizer if you ever find yourself at a large gathering of boomers who watch network television. Just say you watch The Doghouse on Friday night.
Be honest, Alex, that's you basically every night.
At Scrabble?
Yeah.
No, I haven't been to Scrabble for weeks. It's actually a real problem. That's number 3. Number 2, I don't know what to choose. I've got 2 options.
I know.
One of them you've seen, one of them you haven't. I'm going to go for The Bridge at number 2 because I've only watched 1 episode.
Wow.
But it's that good.
With a bullet.
But it's that good. Do you know anything about The Bridge Australia?
No.
Okay. The premise is 10 Aussie drongos.
To be fair, that has been the premise of 3 of the top 10 shows.
Yeah. It's a winning formula.
It's like a country that exists to make reality show people.
There's a strong Australian showing, right, in this whole list. The Bridge, Aussie drongos, chuck them in a remote location. There is an island across a lake that has $250,000 on it. Their job is to build with their bare hands a bridge to get to the island.
How far are we talking?
It's 100 metres.
And they can't swim there.
They can't swim there. They have to build the bridge with their bare hands, but also only one person can cross the bridge when it's built, and that person gets to decide if they keep the money or they split it with the remaining team members. Ooh. So it's got elements of the mole. It's got this weird Survivor kind of thing to it.
So the group has to pick someone they trust to send over the bridge that they trust will give them all the money.
Yeah, and there's this ancient man who's like, I find opals for a job. And that's all he's ever done is look for opals and get like $50 a week and just live on that. And I'm like, obviously send that guy. He's like never seen that much money before in his life.
You'd get it in the will anyway.
That's true. Or you could probably catch him and...
Oh. Well, there are twists and turns. I don't know if there's anything that violent, but there's already been in one episode, which is over an hour long, I will warn you. But there's a lot of interesting format stuff that happens. The island sends out flares across, which have clues attached to them, and if you find them, then you get a new responsibility. It's really, really good. The Bridge Australia.
One ep in.
I'm one ep in. Honestly.
Damn.
I'm really enthused by it. I was furious that Joe had to leave to go to the Killers last night because I couldn't watch the end of it because he was like, don't watch any of this without me.
Just quick aside on the Killers.
Yeah.
I don't know. After Dua Lipa, the herald of this podcast, this is no longer a quick aside, I know.
Uh-oh.
And they were like denouncing people for bringing their daughters, people like me, to Dua Lipa because it was too saucy. Now, did you go to, you didn't go?
I wanted to go to Dua Lipa, but my boss couldn't hook me up with tickets. So.
It's fucked up. But you did, Alex.
I did.
That was barely PG, I think, as far as the show goes. And so I thought that was what. So I don't want to come off like that. But someone was there with a baby. Just a baby, raw-eared.
Raw-eared, not even...
listening to the concert. They ended up putting their hands over their ears. But still, fundamentally, a fucking tiny baby.
At the Killers.
At the Killers, at the sound desk. And G-fucking-A.
Whoa.
I mean, like I got in trouble for taking Jet to see The Wanted when she was 8 without earmuffs. And honestly, with hindsight, fair play. They hooked us up. Underrated boy band, The Wanted. There was a time when it felt like they were competing with 1D. That's a true fact. So, anyway, that's what happened to the Killers. Otherwise,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was just confronting. It was a little baby.
Should get the baby in the mosh.
Was
the
baby like smiling? Was it like
baby looked
flowers?
upset?
I love this song.
Yeah.
My cage.
I literally am young. I were young. Okay.
We've made it to number one. And I don't even know if I actually think this is number one.
You definitely don't.
Maths AU. Cast your mind back to the start of the year. Once I started looking at recaps of the show and looking at the cast, I remembered what a journey it was. This was a crazy season. Almost every single cast member delivered something massive.
Can we go through, remind me, because I've got such a terrible memory.
Cody and Selena. Your favourite Cody. Your favourite man.
Hell of a guy, underrated.
Model of modern masculinity.
Yeah,
Remember how he pranked Selena into wearing a ghillie suit and then made her cry?
Yeah, that wasn't great. He was just too honest with his racism.
Oh, yeah. And that. I totally forgot about that.
Fuck, that was intense.
That was so intense.
That was the time my stand-em wavered for a terrible guy.
Mitch. Ella and Mitch.
That was why I went to Gold Coast.
That's why you went to Goldie, to find Mitch.
Got an early tan. Got an early start on my tan because of him.
The man was naked in the shower, twerking upside down.
No, not too. He was doing handstand push-ups, which are incredibly difficult.
Incredibly difficult. Tamara and Brent. Do you remember Brent? He had a foot phobia.
Yeah, he did.
Quite early on.
Tamara was so contemptuous of him.
She really didn't like him.
And was she hooking up with someone?
She slid into Mitch's DMs,
Correct.
I think. Dion and Carolina.
How tall is he when he stands on his wallet?
How sparkly is his Chicago Bulls sequin bomber jacket?
Oh my God, how red doth his tracksuit be?
And remember we did that big mafioso speech where he's like, "You're not a real man."
So good.
Holly and Andrew.
That's not from.
Yeah, Andrew was the Australian guy with the American guy. Sorry, with the red hair.
Awful.
And Holly was the
man.
kind of woo-woo actress. Liar.
What about young boy
Al, who did the shoey in front of everybody? Oh.
Gorgeous man.
These people feel
Love
like
Australia
our close
now.
friends. And he wants to meet a person. That's what he said.
He does deserve to meet a person.
Matt and Kate. Do you remember Matt?
Matt, who did probably the Like, even by Australian drongo standards, whatever he did in that hallway can't have been good.
Drunkenly at 4 a.m, knocking on everyone's doors, having to do
so
a big
curious.
beat red apology at the
I
dinner
don't
party.
think he knows what he did, and I don't think no one else does. But man, he stayed in it. Despite just...
He bought that woman so many things. She hated him from the very start, even when he did like a really sick bomb next to her and got her like, absolutely soaked by the pool. She didn't love that.
But over time, as they, spent more time in each other's company, that initial kernel of hatred grew into a giant rainforest the size of the fucking Amazon of hatred, such that we could reverse climate change with it. Wow.
There's the solution. But the biggest story of all, from Maths, Olivia and Dominica. Remember that rivalry?
Even I've seen.
Even
this stuff.
Samuel's seen this stuff. What's your understanding of this stuff?
So there was a nude photo that was shared around to the group, and there was kind of like gossipy behind the back. Is it Dominica who had the photo shared of her?
Yes.
And like they kind of like I watched the clip. They tried to like make a joke to the husband about it and be like, "Oh, do you know that she has an OnlyFans?" He was like, "Yeah." Like, I thought that was king shit. Like when he was like, yeah, like, okay, and like your information is irrelevant. Like, so good,
incredible.
That whole episode. That is why you watch reality TV, because it is at once gripping television, but also like society gets to grow up. The villain just reveals themselves, like hissing, steaming, like just absolute Olivia. And the gap between, what was her chap's name?
Jackson
and...
Jack, I think.
Yeah, well, but more like Jackson just seemed to only see the good in her. And her posture towards him versus her private behaviour was... That was incredible. You're right.
Was incredible.
That's number one.
It is. And there was so much even building up to that episode. Remember when she smashed the glass? Because Olivia kept like teasing her about her voice, and there was like this crazy kind of like class tension between them. It was just like...
So much in it.
There was so much in it. It was absolutely incredible. They've all broken up, to be clear.
Yeah. Well, only like two of them survived, and even then they were hanging by a thread.
And Maths is coming back next year. I think there's going to be some celebrities in the cast. I've been reading up on Daily Mail.
I mean, it does have that, it's become Australia's Love Island, the stops traffic defining show. And while it doesn't have those kind of Love Island-like qualities where you're just guaranteed like a million, it is literally kind of winning lotto. It certainly has, like, if you want to just be in the attention sphere forever, if you're like a minor celebrity kind of wanting to make that leap, it scans. It just also, it has that cozy thing now where you're like, oh, this show will run forever. This will be what I do with February and March and a little bit of April.
This is a seasonal quality to like, you've got your Maths at the start of the year, Love Island in the middle. It's just, and then it's another year done,
I know. You get to tick it off.
It's another year done. Thank God.
Thank Christ. One step closer to the big rest.
On that note,
I'm so tired.
I'm tired too. It's 4:15. It's a crazy time to do a podcast. Thank you for listening if you made it to the end.
Do you reckon anyone's ever done a podcast this late in the day?
Surely not.
4:15 p.m.
I'm knackered.
Yeah, we should be tucked up in bed like Jane.
Like Jane.
We should go get in
Lucky
Jane's bed with her. Oh wait, no, she has a COVID positive child. Not into that household.
We'll be back next week. Next week we're going to rank all the top 20 Maths characters of all time, we think, right?
Yeah.
We're really freestyling at the moment. Bomb-Funk MCs.
Well, yeah, it is. It is Bomb-Funk MC. The inventors of freestyling.
Just before we leave, we haven't actually returned to your segment. Any Channing Tatum news?
Okay, let me do a quick Google.
Just do a quick dog pile search.
You're a fan?
You might have not been here, Duncan.
Yeah, you weren't here, sorry.
I think it was Samuel's first recording, and instead of saying, have we forgotten to do Max Key Corner, he said, do we got to do that Channing Tatum news?
That is amazing. Freudian slip.
Channing Tatum returning to his best role. James was Salma Hayek. Yeah, nothing interesting. No career.
Okay.
I've decided, speaking of Channing Tatum, I'm going to watch Magic Mike again soon.
Okay.
I'm ready. It's time.
But the thing is, the first one sucks. XXL is good.
No, the first one doesn't suck. It's just not as good as XXL. But I don't think you get to rewatch XXL before you've rewatched Magic Mike.
Maybe we should do a Magic Mike pod. Anyway, we need to finish. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's over.
Are you curious about how business can be better? I'm Simon Pound, and I host Business is Boring, a podcast where I kōrero with some of the most interesting people in entrepreneurship, commerce, and making things happen. Tune in to Business is Boring every Tuesday, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in partnership with Spark Business Lab.
Kia ora e te iwi, Te Aihe Butler here, podcast manager at The Spin-off. If you enjoy listening to our podcasts, consider supporting our mahi by signing up to become a Spin-off member at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
The Spin-off Podcast Network.